Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, good morning all of you. This is Ashima, and in this video we'll be talking about daily news events or daily current affairs. So the discussion is going to be as in descriptive format so that more and more points can be covered in less time and your time is saved for other segments or your practice segments, right? So we'll be talking about the news events. I'll be telling you about the details of the news event so that the news event is as a whole clear to you, and more of it is going to save your time because more and more things will be covered in less and less time, right? But for all of you who want to practice also, for the practice purposes, we have a quiz which happens every day on Entri app, and a weekend class which happens, which takes up the quiz which I am taking it up. So every day weekend quiz happens in which we talk about the questions, and that is going to help you practice all the week's current affairs, right? So that is about the daily current affairs segment that goes on. Now we'll be moving forward with our news events for the day. The first one being One Planet Summit. Now this summit was organized recently. So what is in the summit? What things were covered in this? Everything we are going to discuss over here. First of all, when was it held? It was held on 11th of January 2021. And this year the theme was Let's Act Together for Nature. Right now, whenever a summit is organized, you must know who is the organizer of the summit, right? Because there are certain times the examiner will ask you who organized the summit. So this summit was organized by United Nations, World Bank, and France. These are the three organizations which together organized this summit. Now, apart from that, the other things that need to be known is when was the first time this summit was organized. So 2 years after the Paris Agreement, that is in 2015, we had Paris Agreement, and in 2017, the summit was organized for the very first time. Right now, when the summit was organized for the first time, at that time there were 12 international commitments that were made or adopted in this summit, which was in 2017. So what were the commitments that were taken? This was in the first summit. So responding to extreme events in island states. Since we all know, before we move ahead with the commitments, I'll be giving you an idea about why this is important, what are the areas of it, and then you'll understand the objectives more clearly. So, excuse me, yeah. So, One Planet Summit, in the times of COVID-19, we have seen that our daily lives were hampered, but the nature was also playing ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs on the matter, right? There were forest fires happening, and there were recovery of places happening, pollution levels going down, whereas nature responding in an absurd way at some places for all of these ups and downs of global activity, that of global human activity that took place, right? So this whole planet summit, One Planet Summit, it promotes the idea of ecological transformation of the world, right? So it measures the environmental and climate protection, combining the environment protection and you can say environment protection and climate protection with innovation and economy. That is what the aim of One Planet Summit is. So maintaining the innovation along with maintaining the environment is the purpose. So first is responding to extreme events in island states. Extreme states being extreme cold, extreme hot, some things like that. Then protecting land and water against climate change. Protection of land and water against any form of climate change. Then public procurement and access for local government to green financing, that is increasing green financing. That means we are taking innovation and economy with you can say environment as a whole. Zero emission targets, like in India also we have certain zero emissions target, like when Indian Railways we have 2030 zero emission target. European Union adopted that by 2025 the zero emissions are going to be there. So zero emission targets to be attained by countries and sectors as together separately. Then sectoral shifts towards decarbonizing of economy. Zero pollution transport, that is promotion of electric vehicles as we can say, or there are recent developments of engine which can run on other gases rather than fossil fuels. So that also comes under zero pollution transport. Then work towards a carbon price compatible with Paris Agreement. Then anchoring climate issues at the center of decisions of financial actors. International mobilization of development banks, a commitment of by sovereign funds, and mobilizing institutional investors. These are the 12 you can say commitments that were made or that were adopted during the first summit which was held, that is in 2017. And this is what this whole summit overall works together for. Right. Now we have a sea vigil exercise. Now this sea vigil exercise was conducted by Indian Navy and is going to be conducted soon. For 2021, the dates have come out. So it will be conducted between 12th and 13th of January by Indian Navy. And it is going to circumvene all the coastline that we have and the waters that are there of India. So it involves all the 13 coastal states that are there of India, the union territories of India which are near the coastline, exclusive economic zone. These three areas will be covered and it will involve fishing and coastal communities. Right. So what is it all together built up for? It is towards the major theater level exercise, and that is topics which we'll be talking about in the upcoming on this next part of this news event, right? So this exercise is conducted every 2 years. It's a biennial exercise, and by biennial exercise I mean that it is conducted once in 2 years. That means last exercise was held in 2019 and now it is held in 2021. Right. Now, here I talked about an exclusive economic zone. So, what exactly is an exclusive economic zone? The area of the sea when a sovereign state has special rights. So, something that part of the sea which is granted to a particular country as per United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea. According to United Nations Convention, when the part of international water is given to a particular country as its own completely with all the marine resources that are present over there, that is exclusive economic zone. So exclusive economic zone of India in Indian Ocean can be the area which is designated as the part of India. Right. Then I talked about tropics exercise also. Now tropics is tropical level readiness and operational exercise, and it is an inter-service military exercise. That is, Air Force is also participating, Army is also participating, and Navy is also participating. And this happens normally in the beginning of the year only. So what do they take? Now when all the forces are involved, so it is checking how the combat readiness is there. That is, how ready are these forces to fight. That is what tropics is all about. First tropics exercise was held in 2005. Right. Now, moving ahead, we have Pope's amendment of church law. Now, Pope has recently amended a few laws, and according to these amendments have recently given women more, you can say, rights, more representation in church. So, what are the changes? First of all, the law that defines the proceedings during Mass and an altar are called Code of Canon Law, and canon means rule. Canon means rule. So, Code of Rule Law. It is also called Juano-Pauline Code. So this is the amended law which has taken place. So Pope Francis, he has recently amended the Code of Canon Law, which monitors the proceedings of Mass and an altar. Right? Now, according to this, can the women become priests? No, but there are certain amendments to other things, like they can read gospel, serve at the altar as ministers, can be allowed to play the role of lectors and acolytes. Now, what are lectors and what are acolytes? Lectors are the people who read lessons in church. So just like we have lecturers who you can remember as that purpose, that like we have lecturers who impart the lesson to us in colleges. Similarly, in church, when someone is imparting the lesson, that is a lector. An acolyte is a person who assists the celebrant in a religious service or any procession. Right? Now, a separate study commission has also been defined by Pope Francis for the purpose that there should be, can women be made decans for that purpose? Right? Now, if we talk about this law, why is this Code of Canon so important? So, a Code of Canon Law is important because it is the fundamental law for all the Latin churches. Right, so all the Latin churches law is governed by this law. All the Latin churches are governed by this law. Right. All right. Then we have a legal entity identifier system. Now, what is in the legal entity identifier system? Reserve Bank of India has recently announced the introduction of legal entity identifier system for all the payment transactions of 50 crores and above. So any payment transaction which happens above 50 crores or is of 50 crores, that is that will be considered under legal entity identifier system. This transaction can either take place through NEFT or RTGS, does not matter, but this identifier is going to work for the transactions of 50 crores or above, right? Now, what will this system do? Why is it being introduced? So it will first of all identify all the legal entities that are involved in that particular transaction, right? So this will help in tracking the financial data as to where the amount is going and how is it moving ahead, right? So banks will have to include the information of remitter, of the beneficiary, and that is how this can be done. So banks will have to include the system so that the tracking of the money can be done as to which steps has it followed via legal entities, right? Then Payment and Settlements Act Systems 2007 is the one under which legal entity identifier was established in India. So Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007 was the one under which this legal entity identifier system was established. Right. Now, what is this legal entity identifier? That is a 20-digit unique number that is given, and it is a global identifier. That is, any transaction takes place that can be tracked using this 20-digit unique number. And who develops this unique number? This is developed by International Organization for Standards. The International Organization for Standards develops this number, and therefore this legal entity identifier system will be following the International Organization for Standardization, right? Now, when a legal entity identifier number is given, for how long can this registration number be valid? This is valid for 1 year from the registration date. And when was this introduced? It was in 2008 financial crisis. During the financial crisis of 2008, this legal entity identifier system was introduced, so that there was no, because they found that there was no single code to find the transaction or track the transaction that is taking place, right? Now, then we have Atal Tinkering Labs. Now, Atal Tinkering Labs are established by Niti Aayog, and recently ISRO has decided to adopt 100 Atal Tinkering Labs. Do we have more than that? Yes, we have more than 7,000 Atal Tinkering Labs in India, developed by Niti Aayog, and they all promote STEM culture, STEM subjects, as we can say. STEM subjects being science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Promoting all these subjects, promoting the you can say newness of technology, and all of these things is what is promoted in STEM, right? So using these tinkering labs, it basically helps youth or the people who are still learning, for them to think innovative, to learn to solve problems of day-to-day lives using technology, right? There are various initiatives, and this is under Atal Innovation Mission, and this is one of the major initiatives under Atal Innovation Mission, or AIM. Then we have Khadi Prakritik Paint. Now, this has been developed by KVIC, or Khadi and Village Industries Commission, which is a non-toxic, eco-friendly paint which has antibacterial and antifungal properties as well. The major ingredient is a cow dung, but still it is odorless and it is also cost effective. Only two forms have been made available as of now, that is plastic emulsion paint and distemper paint. So there are two varieties of it available. It is comparatively better. It is free from all the heavy metals, like there's no mercury or lead or arsenic or chromium. Nothing of that sort is present in this. And this will also help double the farmer's income, because the technology that is being used will increase the consumption of cow dung, because that is a raw material, that is a major material that is being used. So it will help in doubling the farmer's income also, and it is free from heavy metals, which makes it environment friendly also, right? Then a few one-liners for you. So NASA is going to test the most powerful rocket ever built. Now, what is the name of this rocket? It is Space Launch System, and NASA is going to test it soon. And this is important launch because this is a moon mission, and it will be carrying the first woman to moon. First woman to moon along with the next man of moon will be going via Space Launch System, which is of NASA and is the most powerful rocket ever built till date. Then Supreme Court has stayed the implementation of these three agriculture laws, which you people might be aware of because of the farmer protests going on. So Apex Court has decided to create a committee. This committee will be chaired by Chief Justice of India to resolve the standoff between farmers and the union government. That is, what is the tussle that is happening to break the point where both of them have stuck around. So to break that standoff, Chief Justice of India will be chairing this committee, and it will be an independent committee constituted for looking after the agricultural laws. Then Heritage Conservation Committee approves the construction of new parliament building. So recently we have seen that the Central Vista project was approved by Supreme Court. Now the Heritage Conservation Committee has also approved it. Why this approval was required? Because Heritage Conservation Committee looks after all the heritage sites, and parliament is a heritage site as a whole together as well. So for that purpose, Heritage Conservation Committee's approval was also quite necessary. Then Kerala government has waived off the entertainment tax for cinemas so that film industries can grow again. Bangladesh will be the focus of 51st International Film Festival of India. So IFFI is going to be held, and in that the focus country is going to be Bangladesh this year. And Tenzin Lekfel has been appointed as the new Secretary General of BIMSTEC. Right, so new Secretary General is Tenzin Lekfel of BIMSTEC, and BIMSTEC is for Bay of Bengal. So you have to have an idea about the member countries of BIMSTEC and who is the current Secretary General of BIMSTEC. With this, I'll be taking your leave, and I hope this session has been helpful to all of you. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, do like the video, share the video, because this is helpful for all the examinations. So you can share to any student you feel that would be requiring and beneficial from this. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye, take care, and have a wonderful day ahead.